Meeting is called to order. We'd like to welcome everyone to the September 14th, 2015 meeting of the Caldwell County Board of Education. We're glad that you have come this evening, and we look forward to recognizing some of our students and others who are here with us this evening. And I think everybody has truly enjoyed the last couple of days. They've been absolutely beautiful days. We hope that everyone's getting adjusted to your school routine. And just one fact, Dr. Stone may have been planning to mention this later, but after 8 years of declining attendance or enrollment in our school system, actually this year we're starting to go up again. So we're up about 50 students over what we were last year, so we're hoping that trend is reversed. Right now we have a little over 12,100 students in the school system, and that's not counting our pre-K students, and there's about 139 of them. So we're very happy about that. We're glad you're here with us this evening for the board meeting. Next on the agenda is the invocation for the board. May we pray. Our loving Heavenly Father, we are so grateful for the wonderful and beautiful day that you have given us and for all the blessings that you bestow upon us every day. As we have just started a new school year, we ask for safety, for a loving and caring environment for our students so that all can learn and grow each day. We are grateful for the opportunity of service in our community, and may your supreme wisdom guide each of us in all of our decisions for the good of teachers, administrators, students, parents, and everyone in Caldwell County. Help us to be aware of your constant presence and direction in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and tonight we have fourth grade student from Caldwell, Joanna Heineman, and early college freshman Boyd Heineman. They are the children of Keith Heineman, Director of Middle School Education, and Ken Heineman, who is an 8th grade teacher at Caldwell. So if Joanna and Boyd to come forward, we'll all stand, please.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joanna and Boyd, for being with us this evening. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had opportunity to review. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next is the approval of the minutes. We had a regular session on August the 10th, and we also had minutes from the closed session on August 10th. So the board, you've had an opportunity to review that. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of both the regular session as well as the closed session on August 10th?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve both sets of minutes, regular session and closed session from August 10th.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Next is public comment, and as of 4:30 this afternoon, we did not have anyone to register for public comment. At this time, I'd like to recognize and introduce Ryan Cooper. He is a principal fellow and we're very happy to have him in Caldwell County. And he is currently working with Dudley SHOALS, and he will be going second semester to BATON. So we would like to introduce to everyone Ryan Cooper. And Ryan, if you'd speak to us and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Okay. My name is Ryan Cooper. I'd like to thank Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stone, for inviting me here. As he said, I'm a North Carolina Principal Fellow. I taught for 8 years in Burke County, and my wife and I, when we got married, we built a house in Sawmills, and so as I've been told, I came to the right side of the river. So I'm over here now, but I'm privileged to work with Mr. Gwen Roop and soon Mr. Jason T. Taylor, and it's my first experience in an elementary setting, and it's been eye-opening, to say the least. It's been a great experience so far, but I do appreciate you guys being so accommodating and welcoming, and I look forward to being here, hopefully for some time. Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. We are truly happy for you to be here in Caldwell County, and we know that Mr. Roop and Mr. T. Taylor will be happy to have you helping out. And they're back there shaking their heads up and down. Very good, very good. Okay, next we have honors and recognition. And I want to call upon Libby Brown, Community Relations Director, and the board's going to come down to the front and greet these people who have won these various awards.
Thank you, Chairman Pennell, Board of Education members, and Dr. Stone. Congratulations to our first group of student artists in this school year who were selected to be featured in the Caldwell County Schools Education Center Art Gallery. In such a short time, because we really haven't been in school that long, they have been identified as having some beautiful artwork to be placed in the Education Center for the whole month of September and the first part of October. So it is definitely our pleasure tonight to recognize these young budding artists who are enrolled in the Caldwell County Schools. We're going to start with BATON Elementary, and Jason T. Taylor is principal. Jenny Green is the art teacher, and LINDSEY Edwards, first grade, is in our Education Center Art Gallery. I'm not sure if she's here tonight. I know Jason is. Mr. T. Taylor, you want to come forward?
We'll let you take this back.
Yes. And Seth HASKET. Seth is a kindergarten student at BATON Elementary School. You may as well stay up here, Mr. T. Taylor. Okay. Yes. Then we have Dudley SHOALS Elementary. Gwen Roop is principal, and Alexis Buchanan is the art teacher. Austin Hass, third grade, and Seth STEPPE, first grade, and Jaden Williams, first grade. So I know we have some Dudley SHOALS Elementary students. Yes. And we have Hudson Elementary in our art gallery. Adam Wynn Miller is the principal. Emily Eisenhower, she's here with us this evening also. She is the art teacher. Hannah Caldwell, third grade, and Nathaniel Vinton, first grade. So we have Nathaniel, and we also have Hannah. Okay, so time for a picture? Okay, we're very proud of these students, and now parents, you can stand up and take pictures.
We're going to get them here in the middle just a second and plenty of time. Come on in the middle, guys.
And there's certificates and medallions. They look so nice.
smiling.
This is an easy group. They're all small. Great job.
Okay, from Happy Valley School, we have Chad Smith, principal, and Melissa Jarzewski here, the art teacher. We have Ian Gibson, 7th grade, Zachary Green, 7th grade, and Jaden McLeod, 7th grade. So we have 3 7th graders here. We have one with us to... Oh, Ian is 8th grade. Okay, Ian, we didn't want to demote you, okay? Sorry about that.
Oh, you won't go back.
No. And for Kings Creek School, Jenny McNulty is the principal and Lydia Stewart is the art teacher. Katie Green, 7th grade. Emma Malam, 7th grade. And Jessica Pennington, 7th grade. So we have a nice 7th grade representation this evening. Okay, we're ready for a photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all come on up here.
And let's give them a big round of applause. And we'll put that on our website. Okay, Isaac Tuttle, senior at High Brighton High School, was selected as a representative of Blue Ridge Electric, which is of course a strong partner in public education. So we hear their name a lot throughout the school year. And that he was involved in a youth tour to Washington, D.C. Part of Isaac's remarks to the North Carolina's delegates in his bid to be elected their representative to the National Youth Leadership Council was published in this magazine. And I brought it with me so you can see how impressive this is. And this is the August edition of Carolina Country. So we'd like to congratulate Isaac if he's here with us this. Is Isaac here? So please come out. Do you have on your t-shirt from the... Oh, good. So we are very proud of Isaac and for this accomplishment and this unique opportunity to represent Caldwell County in Washington, D.C. That's good.
We were hoping you'd wear your suspenders.
It's not every day that a student scores 4 or higher on at least 8 advanced placement exams, and they're called AP exams in the school system. But it's par for the course for a South Caldwell High School 2015 graduate, Ryan Stone. AP courses are some of the most rigorous courses offered in high school. Created by the College Board with college-level curricula and examinations, students who score 3s or 4s on AP exams are often granted placement and course credit at the college level. So we'd like to congratulate Ryan Stone for reaching this unprecedented accomplishment at South Caldwell High School who is now attending UNC Chapel Hill. So we know he couldn't be here this evening, but we were hoping someone from South Caldwell could be here this evening. And we know they're not at Chapel Hill. But we will pass that along to him, and we're... Pardon?
Did you get the name?
Yes, Ryan Stone.
Stone, did you get that?
Okay. And he's a Tar Heel fan, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Middle grades in Caldwell County have gone cosmic to include a boundless source of ideas that have been generated through Appalachian State University involvement and grant funding by Google in a new project called Cosmic, Computer Science for Middle Schools in Caldwell County. So if Keith Hyman, he is the project manager and middle schools director, if he'd like to come forward, because we're going to give some certificates away. Is she here? Oh, good. Yes, please go forward, because we also have a guest, Tracy McLemore Salinas, and she is the Director of Teacher Education and Engagement, College of Arts and Sciences, Associate Professor, Department of Mathematical Sciences at Appalachian State University. So if you want to come forward, you three or two can.
Dr. Stone loves that I just turn it on up. I'm doing this right now, and I'm back your way.
Good job. And I'll let you say a few words.
Sure.
Go ahead, and I'll just finish up.
Okay, that sounds great. I'm very happy to be here. I've worked with Caldwell County on a number of projects for several years, and this year we were very excited to receive funding from the Tides Foundation to bring students from Caldwell County schools who might not have already had access to computer science careers and educational opportunities. We brought them on campus to participate in computer science activities, to learn about being college students, and then later in the summer we brought teachers to campus to let them see those activities and explore how to bring more computer science into their own classrooms. The project has another 1.5 years to go, and we're looking forward to so many new things to do with your students. And I mean, there's so much we could tell you, but we did bring a video for you to see. And I'd like for you to know that there are 4 teachers in particular who are making these things happen. They are Beth Fox, Randy Seldom-Ridge, Bradley Bartlett, and Angela Raby, and you'll see them in quite a few of the pictures and things you'll see coming out later, excuse me. Okay, are we ready for this one? Okay. I might say, as you're looking at these pictures, that the grant did purchase the Chromebooks that all the students are using, and it will purchase more for Caldwell County this year.
And what was really nice was the aspect of the students being able to, attend the camp for free.
They did.
Spent 3 days at Appalachian State University. All right. And just the ability to have these clubs at Grand Falls Middle School, Wheeldemore Middle School. We're so excited about the opportunity to begin 2 more sites, Collinsville,
Right.
and then also at Gangwell Middle School. And those schools will also be able to participate in the summer camp as well. So just increase the number of students here again that are exposed to computer science in our school, and the content integration is particularly important.
Exactly. We brought 20 students to campus this summer. We'll bring 40 next summer. So we're hoping this is something that will actually grow. The students had their own dorm rooms. They had their own ID cards and lunch cards on campus. So they participated just as if they were regular college students. We rented out the game room and the movie theater for them too. So you can see it wasn't all computer science work. And the teachers, there's some of them here tonight, spent 3 days working very hard to create materials for their classrooms. And I think of the group that came, only 3 or 4 had prior computer coding experience. By the end of 3 days, they all had coded materials for their classrooms that were either interactive quizzes or demonstrations or lessons. In some way, they had all used coding to create something new for their classroom. And there's just a little more of a peek at them in the movie theater. They thought that was very exciting to have a whole theater just for them. And the fall is we watched Big Hero 6, and then we had an engineering challenge where they had to create a Big Hero 6, the little balloon guy from there, and then engineer some armor for him. But the project in the first year was about $100,000. Second year is closer to $200,000. More field trips, more summer camp, more professional development, and more materials for computer science. And we're just delighted to be able to do that and look forward to even more opportunities for those kinds of partnering, especially for schools where there might not already be pathways for computer science. Thank you.
Do you want to stand up and help us?
I'll be happy to. Thank you.
And just to reiterate what was said, the goals of the project include increased positive perception of computer science with an emphasis on girls and underrepresented minorities using pre- and post-surveys developed by Google. Increased student and educator awareness of computer science and related careers. Increased overall competencies in programming skills with an emphasis on girls and underrepresented minorities using a rubric, and capacity building of the program so it can continue after the 2 years of grant resources are completed. So there is a building component for continuation. So we're very proud of these teachers who we will recognize tonight, who attended a staff development, professional development in August. And we're going to start with the crew from Granite Falls Middle School. And as mentioned, Randy Seldom-Ridge is the after-school Cosmic Club advisor. So I'm not sure. I didn't see Randy. Oh, Randy is here. Okay. Randy's here. And then Monica Martin, who was then an instructional facilitator at Granite Falls Middle School and Happy Valley, who is now assistant principal at Gamel Middle School, attended this. So she brings it to Gamel Middle School. Marielle Head. She's not here for this. Okay. Constance Quinn, teacher at Granite Falls Middle School. Chris Collette. Lori Skates. Rachel Main. And Sarah Chapman. So these are the teachers from Granite Falls Middle School that's making it happening there with computer science. And this is the largest representation we have from one school, Granite Falls Middle School. Then we have Gamel Middle School. And we have the Lone Ranger from Gamel Middle School who's doing it all, Mr. Brad Bartlett. And he's the after-school Cosmic Club advisor. And Collinsville School, Angela Raby is doing the same. In the Collinsville School, she is the after-school Cosmic Club advisor. And then we have William Lenore Middle School. And William Lenore Middle School is led by Beth Fox. And Beth is the after-school Cosmic Club advisor. Dorothy Hayes, the instructional facilitator at William Lenore Middle School in Collinsville. And we have, I know Leslie Johnson couldn't be here this evening. I know Olivia Cox couldn't be here, both teachers from William Lenore Middle School. We have Terry Moyer, and I know Mrs. Linda Bentley is here from William Lenore Middle School. And I also want to call Keith Hyman back up because we do have a certificate for him. He is the project manager for Caldwell County Schools, and he's making sure that all this takes place. So congratulations to all of you. We hope to see some computers,
Group picture here in a second.
something in the next 2 years. Yes. Now this one you're going to have to squeeze. Squeeze it.
I can do a live touch thing. Y'all look great.
I'm afraid Teresa's going to get hidden back there.
There you go.
I'm on my
Okay, nice. We'll put this on our website. Very nice.
Thank you all very much.
And before I turn over the podium to Pat Triplett, who is the Director of the Education Foundation, Inc. of Caldwell County, she is going to give an award to a special lady that we're all, who's dear to us, and we were friends with for many years in education. She was a high school teacher, professor at Appalachian State University for 24 years, member of the Board of Education for 26 years, a mentor, a friend to us and to public education, the late Dr. Sharon S. Pennell. She worked tirelessly in all areas of public education responsibilities, including budget, facilities, personnel, policies, curriculum, planning, and public relations. But her true passion in education always led her back to her passion, which was the classroom. So I want to turn it over now to Ms. Pat Triplett.
Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Stone, thank you for allowing me to present the 2015 Dr. Sharon Pennell Memorial Scholarship through the Education Foundation. Tonight, as Libby said, we honor Dr. Sharon Pennell. Not only do we honor her for her 25 years of selfless service on the Caldwell County Board of Education, but we celebrate Dr. Pennell's life and present this scholarship because of her matchless and sincere passion for education and her commitment to improve the work of the individual classroom teacher, therefore impacting the lives of students. This year's scholarship goes to Sarah Stafford. Sarah Stafford is the band director at Granite Falls Middle School, and she will use the scholarship for National Board certification. If she would come up. Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hurry, you gotta take a picture with us, make us look good.
We want to thank all of you for being here. If you want to stick around for the rest of the meeting, then you're welcome to do so. But now would be an appropriate time if you haven't had dinner or if there's homework waiting for your students. But thank you again for being here.
Clear for this now.
I was going to say everybody needs to drink water.
Okay, we're going to continue on with the agenda, and I'd like to turn it over at this time to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, members of the audience who are left, I'd like to introduce Angie Ashley. She'll come forward. And Angie, I promise you, we did not clear the room so we could talk about sex or teenage pregnancy or anything like that. But
when I walk in the classroom, everybody's ready to listen and participate and answer questions.
Thank you.
So, great. That's
Thank you.
okay. I did want to give you a handout. I forgot. Who was Miss Kathy Chandler?
over here in the back.
Right back here.
It's right here.
Thank you. You're welcome. But first, for your reminder and for getting this done for me, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. I'm on a 4-minute, 59-second deadline for Dr. Stone. So I will talk quickly. First of all, I'm Angie Ashley. I've been with the Caldwell Council on Adolescent Health for 16 years. This begins my 16th year. There's some really interesting stats that you have in front of you that we'll go over. But I wanted to share with you our current programs. Nonprofits have to have the ability to change and meet the needs of their community. So in the past couple of years, we have certainly went through changes. We have our 3 programs that we have currently here. You can see at the very top of the blue sheet our mission statement. Our first and longest running program we call Operation Safe or Sorry. For you all and for those in the audience, that is the education of every 7th, 8th, and 9th grader enrolled in the Caldwell County school systems. That particular curriculum has been going, I think, currently since 1998, with changes every year for statistics. Our other program, Always Changing, you'll see that right in the middle of the sheet. And I also want to point out that educators. My lead health educator has been with me for 6 years. Her name is Eileen Franklin. We have a new educator this year, Olivia McAteer. You may know her from William Lenoir Middle School. Is a CIS site director. I snagged her. I'm so happy to have her as an educator. They work on the Operation Safe or Sorry. The Always Changing, 4 years ago, Keith Hyman came to me at the request, I think, of you all and some other people with some Title V money. We really put together a wonderful curriculum for every 4th, 5th, and 6th grader. That curriculum was 1 or 2 days for each grade. It was Puberty 101, but it had a bullying piece to it and character education, self-esteem, and self-confidence. So back in 2011, I said to myself, I think the teen pregnancy numbers are going to go down, because at that point we had every 4th through 9th grader educated for 4 entire years. Those kids that began are now in 8th grade. Some of the kids are in 10th and 11th grade that had those first classes. And as you can see in just a few moments, the teen pregnancy rate has really been reduced greatly in just this last year. Our newest program, I'm extremely excited about this, is called the Adolescent Parenting Program. Some of you up there probably remember this program when it was housed at DSS. This particular program takes up to 15 to 20 girls who are either pregnant or parenting already. The #1 emphasis is to have a healthy baby, and #2, to finish their education. One of the biggest statistics that we talk about in teen pregnancy is if there is a teen pregnancy by age 16, there's almost an 80% likelihood that young lady will have a second pregnancy before she's age 20. So it's very important to stop that secondary pregnancy. I'm happy about this program because now at the council, it's a very comprehensive service. We will this year continue the 6th grade education for 2 days and continue the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and we will have the adolescent parenting program as well. Those are brought to us with state grants through the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. We write for those grants quite often, and thank you, Dr. Stone, for your latest letter of support for that grant we're writing. Let's get to some wonderful statistics. If you look at this page, I think it's first in your packet. It has our logo on top. They will be releasing 2014 statistics, but it will probably be November before we get those. If you're looking at this page, I kind of want to explain to you what you're looking at. It says Caldwell County Rates 2013. All these are taken from the North Carolina's APPCNC or SHIFT website. They keep up with pregnancies in the past, in the future, what ages are pregnant. So this information is pulled directly from their website. Our rate in Caldwell County per 1,000 students, females aged 15 to 19, is 43. That means that 43.2 students will get pregnant in a given school year. That was for 2013. The state rate is lower at 35.2%. 35.2, that's a rate, not a percent, I'm sorry. We have decreased 15% since 2012, and I am absolutely positive we'll decrease more because of the records we've been keeping last year. You can look and see the state rates are higher, but I really want to point out, if you look a little closely, you see the ages are broken down, age 15 to 17. We had 34 pregnancies. That's all, 34. But we had 72 pregnancies age 18 to 19. That really skews our rate and rank. Some of the pregnancies in age 18 to 19 are married girls with children and families, but they still account for our pregnancy rate. We stop our education in Caldwell County schools in 9th grade. We do a little more education in some of the psychology classes, but really our basic demographic group is age 15 to 17. Again, you can see the state rate. The percent of repeat pregnancies is 26.4%. That's higher than the state rate as well. And unfortunately, having higher than the state rates helps us attain these grants. When our rates are much better, we don't fare as well with money. So we're looking at, I guess, maintaining some statistics right now. North Carolina's teen pregnancy is falling. The United States teen pregnancy is falling as well.
Hang on just one
What
second
is
for a
he
commercial.
watching? YouTube, what? Now welcome to control, Miss Leah.
All right, that's not part of your time. Go ahead.
Can we take your phone, Mr. Knight? Put it in the phone bag. That's fine. If you'll flip the next sheets, 6 years of declining pregnancies. At the top, it says Caldwell Council on Adolescent Health teen pregnancy rates, and it's going to show you the last 6 years comparison. Look at the very bottom, 2001. That was my first year as an educator in the school system, and I remember saying 75, 75, 75. 75 out of every 1,000 girls got pregnant in Caldwell County that year. The state rate was 69.3. You can look at how teen pregnancy has decreased in Caldwell County, and again, we're down to 43.2. If you'll flip another page. This is interesting. The next one is 6 years of teen pregnancy by age. If you will go to the bottom of the sheet, right in the middle, it shows year 2000. We had 120 age 18 to 19-year-old pregnancies. We had 15 to age 15 to 17, and we had 3 to 14 and under. Those middle school pregnancies have always been the worst part of this job. They are costly. The outcomes are not as good. They do not finish high school. Most often they drop out, and they are the repeat teen pregnancies. For 2013, there were no under age 14 pregnancies. In 2014, last year, there were zero middle school pregnancies. And that is huge. I'll get to that in just a moment. Flip over. I'm not going to go into great detail, but this breaks down your pregnancies per school. It's very good information. It has from 2007 up to 2015 filled in, and I said you would see lower numbers. This information came from our nurses tracking report. This is not state information yet, but you can see last year, school year 2014-2015, there were 26 pregnancies. That's all. That is barely enough to make the adolescent parenting program work. We have to have between 15 and 20 young people to have that program. So we're kind of in a little pickle, but I feel like maybe we'll have more than 15 this year. But we do maintain a caseload. Once a young lady gets in the adolescent parenting program, she is in it until she either moves out of the region or drops out of school or graduate school. So most of them are in for the long haul. I like this breakdown though. Again, it shows you at what school the pregnancies are. At the very bottom is the brag rights, I think. We have graduated so many student mothers, and I think that's important for you all to know because it's a huge risk factor even when the guys get girls pregnant, the risk for them dropping out of school is just as high because some of them want to get a job and support their families, so they simply drop out. But these are just graduated moms. You see, in 2012 we had 31. In 2013 we had 19. In 2014 we had 29. But remember, our pregnancy rate was much lower in 2014, and we still had 29 to graduate. And last year, with much lower numbers of pregnancies, we had 16 to graduate. So I think collectively as a whole, your support as a school board, Keith Hyman's support for our programs and being on our board, and the community just really understands and likes what we do. I did throw in one last sheet. I wanted to show you the latest outcome of the Title V money, the grades 4 through 6. A lot of methodology information, but you'll see under results, the very last sentence to me is the meat. We do pre and post every child in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Pre-tests ranged from 50.3 to 78. The post-test ranged from 87.7 to 96.2. Their retention of information and mostly terminology and familiarity just with the topics that we talk about. I was talking with a teacher in here just a second ago. Not every 4th grader needs to know everything about everything, but they do need to know that they're going to go through puberty at a different rate than their friends going to go through puberty, and that's normal. And let's don't pick on that person for going through puberty earlier. Maybe they are taller, maybe they are shorter, but that's some of the information and I guess practice that we do in those younger grades. Is just simply self-esteem and self-confidence to be who you are. It's going to happen to everybody, and everybody's the same. I think I did it. I have more information. I will email if you need, but I would love to answer any questions you have. I just thank you again for the time. I think it's important that you get to know the good stuff. It's not all bad. It's really, really good stuff.
Thank you, Angie.
It is. Should I get a diploma or a medal or a picture? Or
You should.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your
You
time.
all do a great job, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, moving on to board action items. Action item 1, I would like to recommend that we place on the agenda for October 12, 2015 at 5:30 a public hearing for the request of naming the football field at West Caldwell High School. October the 12th, which is our next board meeting, 5:30 p.m. I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve a public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request to hold a public hearing for the purpose of naming the football field at West Caldwell at our next regular board meeting, October 12th at 5:30.
Second the motion.
Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Item 2, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have had out for a 30-day comment period. We've received one comment. However, it was misdirected. It actually had to do with an issue that's more in Jeff's ballpark. So we sent it over there. It didn't really have to do with our strategic plan, more with auxiliary services. So, but I did want to note that we did get one. I'd like to recommend that we approve Caldwell County Schools 2015-2018 strategic plan.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the strategic plan for 2015-2018? Another commercial.
I think there's a gremlin in the room. Here for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the strategic plan for 2015-2018.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Second? Okay. Any comments or questions on that strategic plan? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you. Finally, Mr. Chairman, there are 2 board policies we'd like to put up for a 1-month comment period. These upon recommendations of the North Carolina School Boards Association. And again, trying to stay ahead of some of our students sometimes, but we would like to amend, and I'd like to do these separately since they are two separate policies, although the language is the same. For Board Policy 4309, which is our Student Code of Conduct, we would like to change the definition of tobacco products to include the terms vaping devices, I think I'm saying that right, hookah pens, and related paraphernalia. So what we really are trying to do is to incorporate the e-cigarettes and to make sure that those are governed by board policy, that we don't allow them in school. We'd like to put that out for a 1-month comment period.
Do I hear a motion that we put for a 1-month comment period, Code of Student Conduct? That would be policy number 4309. The revision, that is.
Okay, I'll make the motion we put on for a 1-month public comment period revision of Code of Student Conduct 4309.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, well, we want to add the very same language to Board Policy 5026/7250, the smoking and tobacco products. And again, that's basically changing the definition of a tobacco product to include vaping devices, hookah pens, related paraphernalia. I'd like to recommend that for a 1-month comment period.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the policy revision for 5026/7250 for a 1-month comment period?
Once again, I'll make a motion that we put on a 1-month public comment. Policies 5026 and 7250, smoking and tobacco products.
Is there a second?
Second.
And a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. Next, I'd like to call upon our Associate Superintendent, Dr. Trish Johnson.
On a more quieter note, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have several items for your attention this evening, starting with Exhibit 5. Exhibit 5 includes usual and customary personnel items that are presented for your information only. Exhibit 6 includes personnel items that require action. I respectfully recommend approval of these items as they have been presented to you.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the usual and customary personnel matters as they are presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
One final item, and that's Exhibit 7. Exhibit 7 are student transfers for September. Since your last board meeting, we received a request for 129 transfers. Of the 129 requests, 118 are recommended for approval, meeting board established criteria. If approved this evening, that brings the total transfer request for the school year 2015-16 to 602. I respectfully recommend approval of the transfers as they've been presented.
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we approve the 2015-16 student transfers as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions?
Is 602 about like it was last year? The number about the same?
At the same time?
Right.
Not quite.
It's lower?
A little bit up.
Oh,
At the same time. But it'll probably balance out by the end of the year.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Appreciate
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Church, for the use of the book.
Next, Associate Superintendent for Auxiliary Services, Dr. Jeff Church.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stone, I have two items for your attention under Exhibit 8. The first is an operational maintenance agreement with the City of Lenoir. This is for the detention pond at the new William Lenoir Middle School. And the second is an access easement agreement. The first agreement, operational maintenance agreement is school systems telling the City of Lenoir we will take care of the detention ponds. The second access easement agreement, if we don't, the city will come in and take care of it, and then we'll get billed for it. So with, give you a little bit of a civil engineer lesson today. We have a detention pond instead of a retention pond. And what's the difference between the two? They're actually, it works the same as taking sediment off of the site to keep the groundwater safe and clear. However, a retention pond, it stays wet year-round. Detention pond can dry out during the drier months. So ours can dry whenever the time comes, whenever it dries up. So that's why it's a detention pond instead of a retention pond. So I respectfully request that you approve these as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the access easement agreement as well as the operation maintenance agreement with the City of Lenoir?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the access easement agreement and the operation maintenance agreement with the City of Lenoir for the detention pond at William Lenoir.
Second motion.
And a second. Any comments, any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. I'm going to have Mr. Gardner come up. He's going to present to you an update on the child nutrition procurement policy.
Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Stone. What you have in front of you is basically an updated procurement plan for that child nutrition has been using for years and years. And after we had our last visit from the State Department, they had us saw a few wording things that we need to change on it. And so pretty much it's the same thing that we have used for, I don't know, for years and years. And it's basically just breaking down what the different levels whenever we purchase, what steps we're going to take whenever we're going to purchase something. But it's required for us to have board approval.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the updated child nutrition procurement policy as it has been presented to us.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
It was very complicated, I noticed. It's not like going grocery shopping for sure, so.
All the federal rules and state rules.
Right,
yeah.
I could tell that.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garner. We had Dr. Church up here a minute ago, and I meant to say this earlier, but we really appreciate you keeping the board informed during the construction of William Lenoir. Each week he would send us an email that included the progress on the building. I know before the building was locked down, I was over there on a Sunday afternoon and saw somebody in the gym, and I didn't know who it was. It was Dr. Church. He was in there taking pictures. So I suppose probably a Sunday afternoon was generally when you did that. And he would send those to us and kept us informed on a regular basis, and we appreciate that. It was, really good to follow that progress.
And I was going to say, speaking of William Lenoir, Dr. Church and I had a conversation, wasn't it Friday, I believe, about I had been over at the school and noticed on the newly seeded soccer field a flock of about 30 or 40 Canada geese who were eating and doing other things, I'm afraid. And we were discussing some options for how to address that. And I thought I would let you know, I went to the Sculpture Festival on Saturday. I don't know if you've seen the front page of the Lenoir paper. There was a sculpture done by a gentleman from Hendersonville of this huge metal alligator. It was, I'd say it was about 15 feet long. Its mouth was about like so. Its teeth were as long as my fingers, and I thought, that would probably discourage geese
So you're saying we need a couple of those?
Well, and then I asked him how much it cost. It was $30,000. So you will be happy to know I didn't make any commitments on that. So. But you know, this is a possibility. We could that would probably scare the geese. So.
Okay. We'll move along with the agenda. Dr. Stone, do you have any
Yes, I do
announcements?
have one. Earlier, you had mentioned that for the first time in 8 years, our enrollment is up, and as of the 15th count today, we're actually 56 kids higher than we were last year at this time. We are currently at 12,110. This is the 15th day, and the all-important day is probably the 11th, which is the day after Labor Day. That does not include 139 pre-K students. So now 12,110 versus 12,054 last year at this time. So very pleased to see that. It's been a little bit worrisome to us over the last couple of years. We think that may be an indication that Caldwell County is turning itself around. People are not leaving the county. The population is returning, and throughout our school system we've seen growth at all of our schools. So it's not just necessarily centralized in one or two different schools. So a good trend, a positive trend, and real pleased to announce that. So next year we hope that we have turned it around, and from now on we'll be going upwards with population. And if people will just keep having children and keep having children, and if they were married and all, and not adolescents.
Have a job and everything like that. Right.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. As we all know, teachers began on August the 19th, and students came in on August the 24th. And many on the board had opportunity during the week when teachers first came back to visit many of the schools throughout the county and welcome the teachers back. And so we were happy to get into the schools. That's usually the best time to see the teachers. And then the next week, I know there were several on the board, Mrs. Branch, Mr. Knight, Dr. Stone, and myself. Over the course of 3 days, the first 3 days of school, we rode around the county and saw all the schools in the county on those 3 days. Now, here again, I know that many of the people on the board have had opportunities to visit these schools, and I know all of us have visited William Lenoir, and it's been a very smooth opening over there, other than the traffic in the first few days, but I think that has evened out pretty well. Teachers are excited over there. Students are eager and excited to be in that building. And I found that in going around to the other schools, the same was true there. Teachers were prepared. Their classrooms were, really looking good and colorful, and students were eager and on task, and teachers were excited to be back. I think everyone was excited to be back. So I wanted to just give the board members an opportunity to speak to that, because I know many of you visited various schools over the course of the past few weeks. So if anyone has any comments in regards to any of the visits that you might have made.
I'll just start by saying that what we saw when every classroom went into was happy and healthy kids, eager to learn. And we saw teachers very well prepared. My favorite one I went to, I guess, was Happy Valley, because I got to go to the same classroom. They've heard this story. November of 1963, I was in this 4th grade class when Kennedy was killed, and I got to go to the same class last year, 50 years. But anyway, I got to go to that same classroom again this year.
But it was interesting to note, Dwayne, that was over in the corner.
I was in the corner.
You never explained why you were in the corner.
The seats were facing that way. That's what it was.
And that classroom put a picture of President Kennedy on the wall.
That's right. There was a picture of Kennedy on the wall. But I did also, we enjoyed the William Lenoir opening also, and we got to speak to the kids, and of course I'm an honorary member of the band, so I guess Dottie is too, right? You got the certificate. That makes us alumni.
Right, something like that. So.
Okay, anyone else?
I just was going to say that the schools that I got to visit, I didn't go on the road trip that the rest of the board went on, or part of the board went on, but the schools I did get to visit, you know, for all the stuff that's in the media, our teachers were there, ready to go. I mean, they were excited. They were ready for the kids to get back. You know, in the schools I've been in, the kids are excited about being there, and I think that's just a positive thing. You know, it carries over from year after year. The teachers, we hear the same thing up until this time of year about what's going on outside of our control, but they keep doing their job, and I just want to commend them for that, because that takes a lot of fortitude to just go in and say, okay, these are my kids for the year, and I'm taking care of them. That's my family, so, and they're proud of that. So I'm proud to say that's the scene that I've seen at the schools that I've got to visit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And kind of related to what Joe has just said, I'm fortunate in that there is an older member of my church. She has some health problems, but she really cares deeply about education. And every year she gives me a pretty substantial sum of money to buy school supplies. And as I visit the different schools, a teacher will say, you know what, we could really, really use. And I'm able oftentimes to go out and get that for a school. The lady wishes to remain anonymous, but the support that our community gives to our schools, both financially and as business partners, as mentors and volunteers, is tremendous, and I think our teachers truly appreciate this.
We saw a real team effort at every school we visited, that every member of that faculty and staff worked together to make sure that it was a welcoming, inviting environment for children and for families and for us as we visited. But it was just, also saw a real focus on building relationships with children during those first few days and establishing procedures to set the tone for the whole year. It was a great experience.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I'll just close up by telling you, we had a very smooth opening of school, except for a couple of traffic issues. It was really, I think teachers will very much tell you that they appreciate the presence of the board before school or during when teachers come back or students come back. I think that may be a difference that this board, a reputation this board has that other school boards across the state don't have, and that is your visibility and your support. So I can tell you from the faculty council and from others that I interact with, they really do appreciate the support of the board. Smooth opening, traffic, we've got that fixed. A couple of other bus issues Jeff's working on as we speak. It just was a very smooth opening, and a lot of hard work went into that. Jeff and his department for making sure our buildings were clean and ready for kids and buses were ready. Trish for making sure that we had, Dr. Johnson for making sure we had the correct people in place, and David for paying for it all, and Carol, even though she's not here, for making sure that we had the curriculum and the materials that we needed. So, but that is really just a little bit of what happened, because it really happened in the schools with the principals and the teachers who, as Joe said, really do make this district what it is, our staff inside the building. So a smooth opening, and your presence was noted and appreciated.
And we ran into Guy a number of times as
Yeah,
we were out
we
and
did.
about. He was out and
They
about.
didn't give us anything to eat.
Supporting the
But anyway, we always enjoy getting out into the schools, and here again, I think they appreciate us coming by and being so active within the schools and within the county. Okay, next is announcements. Our District 7 meeting is going to be in Alexander County, and that's going to be September the 30th. And that's going to be at 4 o'clock, and I think the plan is for us to meet here at 2 o'clock. Is that right, or is it 3? 3 o'clock. Okay, if you get here at 2 o'clock, then we'll sit around and talk for a while. But anyway, 2 o'clock on the 30th, and then we'll be going over to Alexander County for the District 7 meeting there. Our next board meeting is on October 12th, and we'll have the art gallery at 5:45 with the meeting at 6. Then at the end of October, we will have our fall work session, and that will be at High Brighton High School. That'll begin at 3 o'clock on October 26th. and that'll be followed up by the community board meeting at High Brighton High School, and that'll be in the theater at 6 o'clock. Does anyone else have any other announcements?
Board
Or
members,
any-
if you have any topics for that work session, go ahead and forward them on to Daryl or Kathy or myself, and we'll make sure they get on the agenda.
Anything else? Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. We are adjourned, and thank you for being here.
Breakfast.